Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and I am here with something a little bit different. I've been on vacation for the last week at a beach house that my family has rented. And so I was doing some scrapbooking on my trip and I was posting some of the pictures, and some of the things I posted, people were asking how I managed to do that. So I thought I would create this video and share some of the things that I do, and hopefully it will help. So this layout was created at the beach house just using some scraps and some Ranger enamel accents. This is another layout I created at the house and using the Paper Studio's tropical paper crafting kit. And I just tucked a little strip of torn peach paper in between, and it looks like it's coming from the top all the way to the bottom. In reality, it is just two little pieces of torn paper and some clusters and things like that. And I love the way this turned out. This layout, my daughter, who is 20, actually created. I gave her this lobster paper, a solid 12 by 12 of it, and then that border strip of little fishies, a little piece of paper down there at the bottom, and then that tan paper that's got like the umbrellas and stuff. She tore it up and put it in the corners. And then I gave her two matte stack colors, that aqua, or not aqua, it's more like a periwinkle, and then that marigold yellow color. And she actually tore those and elongated the mat, which is a really cool idea. I've never done that before. So I love the way it turned out. It only had one sticker in that collection, and it says something about summertime. And so she added something about how it felt like summertime because this is spring break. This is me using up the rest of that collection, and I used that lobster paper, that piece of torn tan paper, and then I had a couple of blue strips that were left from a Creative Memories packet. And then this one is also using up some paper from that. And then that blue border around there is actually where I cut out an 11.5 by 11.5 blue paper for another layout. And so I had that left over and decided to use it. I need to tack it down a little bit better at the bottom. And then there's a quote in the middle from Helen Keller, and I had that cut out on my Cricut before I left. And I used the blue alphas that came with this collection from Paper Studios, and some other random stickers. And I love those little cameras. I fussy cut those from an American Crafts paper, and I just love them. And you'll see them on many of these layouts. This shark paper was a scrap. I put it down with the intention of using it for this picture since we are standing in a shark's mouth. I felt like it was the most fitting picture. I matted the picture on just like a word phrase paper and then tucked that navy blue piece behind it. And then I was trying to figure out what else to do with it because it looked boring. So I did the doodling and added the little waves from the Bella Boulevard. And then this one, I used the washi tape that I took with me and a bunch of scraps and that word squad that I had pre-cut out, another one of those little cameras from American Crafts. And then this sunshine, I cut a circle out from a piece of packaging, and then I used washi tape, and it's got ridges on it because I didn't lay them flush, like the washi wasn't side by side. It was kind of stacked on top of each other, and it was like a yellow and a peach with a yellow on top, so it gave it that orangey color, and I love the way that looks. Sorry, there was a hair like attached to the washi tape. I have a long-haired dog, and I have a feeling she's the culprit. But all these papers here are all scraps, and I love using scraps up. It makes my heart so happy. And then more washi and another scrap. That heart is cut out. Actually, the heart was cut out for another layout, and I just back matted it with this Die Cuts with a View ocean paper, and then I fussy cut the heart out of the scrap. And I love the way it turned out. I added washi, all the colors that I had in washi, all the way down like a sunset, and it turned out fantastically. And then just made these, to me, lovely clusters. I really love the way they turned out. My aunt was sitting next to me, and she said, "Oh, that would look good on there." So she was helping me out. This is I'm on the design team for scrapbookingwithanemarie.com, and this was our design team sketch for Friday, April the 1st, so I created this on Wednesday, and it had a bunch of like 1-inch squares, and these are probably not 1 inch. I hand cut them. They're also probably not straight because, I can't cut straight, you all. But I love the way this turned out. I used that wood grain paper in the back to mat my picture, so I gutted the back of it, which I think I'm going to flip it over and show you in a minute. It had cut parts on the back. Luckily, I have one more piece of this because it's got some really neat cut aparts in the back. So I just put all those different colors down, some gemstones, some little seashells and things. I used some enamel accents from Ranger, and I love the way this turned out. In this sketch, it was a circle in that bottom corner, but I used that thing I made on my Cricut. This layout right here and the rest below it were all created in the car on the way to the beach. So this is what people were asking me about. They couldn't understand how I scrapbooked in the car. And so these are the layouts that I created while in the passenger seat, in the front seat of the car with my husband driving. It's a 10-hour drive, and I needed something to distract me. So I packed this case that's underneath there and created these layouts. So I used Paper Studio collections for most of it. I did some tearing. I did some inking with an ink pad from Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. And I love this one right here because I inked and tore all the way around the mat. It's double matted, and I tore the whole thing and inked the whole thing, and I really love the way that it turned out. And I just did some small clusters and things in different places. And I really love the outcome of this layout. And I love this picture. It makes me laugh. It's very cold in the ocean and at springtime in North Carolina. I also created this one in the car. It is completely from the Tropical collection from Paper Studios. And I did mostly some tearing. I did a little bit of cutting, but it's mostly tearing. And I used all the embellishments are from this collection except for those gemstones, which are Paper Studios, and that Family Fun, which is also Paper Studios. So it is a Hobby Lobby inspired layout. But all the papers and the embellishments, including the sticker on the top left and the bottom right, are all from this Tropical paper kit. And I love how that turned out. So then this one I created on my way home from the beach. I took this paper, at the bottom is American Crafts. I fussy cut it, and then I distressed it with my Tim Holtz distress tool. I used that Friends cutout from where I had cut the word out on my Cricut. And then that I'm done adulting, I'm going to the beach, I created on my Cricut as well. And then I just added some embellishments in 3 different places to give clusters, and added those cute little puffy fish in the water. I love how this turned out. I'm considering doing some doodling or something on the outside of that tan part. I haven't decided. Maybe, I don't know. I have to think about it. And then this is my favorite layout, I think, that I created in the car. I tore the entire piece. This is also from that Tropical collection. I tore all 4 sides, matted it on this basil cardstock, which I do need to trim the bottom branding strip off. I wasn't going to do that in the car. I didn't ink it or anything. I just put it down and then matted my pictures, kind of wonky, and then added that beach bum with the shell that I created on my Cricut before. And I added a lot of sand strips of paper, and it's just little itty bitty papers that were, like 2x3, 3x4. I mean, just very small pieces that had sand. So I tore them all and I stuck them in behind the picture, so it was not predominantly all sand, but there is some sand there. And then I have this little kit that had the word sand in that metal thing, and it had those little shell embellishments. And so I just attached those down with my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And ta-da! I love how this turned out. So here is the kit that I took in the car. Now, it had more things in it because I was going to be creating at the beach house as well. But I took those things out and only put back in what I would have in this case for the car. So the very first thing is I pick my pictures. So, I was telling you that the reason I started doing this is because I had poison ivy the first time I ever chose to do it and needed something to distract myself. That's why I was like rubbing my hand at my arm. Sorry. So I decided in 2021 I needed something to distract me in the car so I wouldn't itch my poison ivy. So that's why I started even attempting to do this, because I know it's a little crazy. So I pick my pictures first, and I stick with a theme. In July of 2021, I was still scrapbooking Disney, so I put a bunch of Disney pictures and embellishments in this box. This is the beach, which I thought was fitting since that's where we were going. So I just put any kind of embellishments that go with my pictures specifically in this case with pictures. And I don't take a ton. I probably took about 25 to 30 pictures that I knew I could scrapbook. And then I have this little kit right here, which I mostly use at the beach house, but I also pulled out occasionally. It's my smaller die cuts and small stickers that go along with beach, summer, swimming, things like that. And so I did get it out a couple times in the car, but mostly at the beach. I have my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, some fat and skinny double-sided tape. That's for instant grip, and then I can add the glue later. Sometimes it takes a second for the glue to stick. And then I always took this little skinny one too for like word phrases. I usually use my Nouveau Deluxe, but in the car, if you want something to stick instantly, use a little bit of double-sided tape first. I have these 3 pens. This one is a Jelly Roll. This one is Creative Memories. The Jelly Roll is white and can be seen on dark paper, so I like to have that. And then I took this Blue Moonlight as well, which is a Jelly Roll, but I did not end up using it, but it does write on dark papers. I took these stacks of washi, which you did see on 2 different layouts. Normally I would only take a few different colors or a theme color, but I decided that I wanted those. And then I took the Vintage Photo Tim Holtz Distress ink pad. And I did take the Dauber as well, just in case I wanted a different feel for, when you use just the ink pad around the paper, it just does the sides. And then if you use the Dauber, it will come over on the top of the page. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. And then I took 2 kinds of scissors, just regular cutting scissors, and then fussy cut or more intricate cutting. And then my Tim Holtz Distresser, and I love that and use that on quite a few of these layouts. And so that goes in my little container typically because I can lose that. I'm not saying I lost it in between the seat and the dashboard. I'm just saying I could. And then I take a couple of sets of kits. Now, I did take 3 kits. I only used 2, but I took this kit, which you just saw quite a few layouts made out of, and the other one that I completely used, and I don't remember what it was called, but it was also a ocean theme, and it was from Paper Studios. And then I have this mermaid paper collection, but I decided not to use it because I have some layouts that I really want to create from pictures we did this year that are very mermaid-esque. And then I take some matte stack papers that are for mostly, putting the picture mats down. And I don't know why I took all those orange because that is bright and crazy, but I usually take some blues, some yellows, black and white. And then I had some foam, which I did use on quite a few of my layouts. And then I take a stack of stickers that are on theme or could be used. I did take a lot of like family ones as well to use at the house, but I really wanted to mostly take beach kind of things so I can make my clusters with those. And then I could add things later if I needed to when I got home. And then I have a different variety from different brands. I have Sticko, Paper House Productions, American Crafts, there's Recollections. I've got all sorts of stuff. Things that I cut from my Cricut. I've got some branding strips, and then there's some more scraps down there. I love to fussy cut those cameras. There's a Bella Boulevard. I think it's called Island Escape. And then I have some large scraps of paper and then some solids. I usually take black, white, off-white, and some shade of brown, whether it's khaki, craft, or like a tan. And then I have these pattern papers back here, seashells, waves, sand, the ocean, sunshine, just different things, or colors that seem to call to me and say, this is something you could use for the beach. So I am very themey with these beach pictures a lot of the time. I may go rogue, who knows. So then I pull out whatever I need or I'm going to use, and then keep everything inside the box except my double-sided tape I usually put on my arm like a bracelet. I take my scissors, my glue, and my pins, and I put them in the cup holder next to me. And then I have a little alcove like right above my glove compartment, and I put these 2 little plastic containers in there so that I can get them out if I need them. And I usually put that inside the little container because I don't want to lose it. So, and then I use this space right here to do all my scrapping. So that is how I create in the car. So if you get car sick, you probably don't want to try this, but you know, it's something that you could try if you were interested. And if you have questions, please let me know. Post them in the comments below. You can always find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. And that's it. I hope you all will come back and see me really soon. I'm here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this month with a new sketch from Lisa Sikorsky. She's doing a 4 seasons in 1 month. And so next weekend is going to be summer, so I'll probably scrapbook some beach pictures. So have a great day and happy scrapping.